The palace walls are trembling with whispers of a royal fight between Camilla and Charlotte. After years of working her way into royal acceptance and finally being seen as a step-grandmother, Camilla may have just destroyed everything she built. She reportedly got into a heated confrontation with none other than the beloved Princess Charlotte. This news sent shockwaves across the kingdom. But no one was prepared for what happened next. Prince William, furious at Camilla, made a decision. He banned her for life right in front of everyone. Could this be the end of Camilla's relationship with the Wales family? "You are banned for life from my children." Prince William reportedly shouted those words at Camilla after she engaged in a confrontation with Charlotte. Just moments before his outburst, insiders reported that Camilla had raised her voice at the young princess for not composing herself and walking around the royal ballroom. Charlotte, unable to keep herself together, began crying at what Camilla had told her. While few people were present to witness the interaction, since Camilla had taken Charlotte aside to speak, no one expected what happened next. Charlotte ran from Camilla's side and went to find her father and mother, who were engrossed in conversation on opposite ends of the hall with guests. Camilla returned to chatting with her circle when Prince William walked right up to her with Charlotte beside him, her eyes red from crying. He asked for a moment with Camilla, and they quietly stepped aside. People's attention was quickly drawn to them as they watched the scene unfold. William suddenly began speaking to Camilla angrily. While those nearby couldn't hear every word clearly, one insider revealed that Prince William said it loudly enough for some to hear that he didn't want Camilla anywhere near his children from that day on. He reminded her that she was not their grandmother, she was only married to their grandfather, and she had no right whatsoever to speak to his daughter the way she did. Their confrontation appeared to be getting more heated when Catherine walked over and gently placed a hand on William's shoulder. Her gesture was likely an attempt to calm him down. William has been known to be short-tempered, and his anger reportedly lingers. With many eyes on them, Catherine and William walked out with their daughter. Camilla, meanwhile, reportedly returned to her friends pretending everything was fine. Insiders noticed she tried to hold herself with composure until the end of the event. But one thing was certain, she had damaged the fragile relationship she had with William's family. And knowing William's nature, it wasn't likely that this relationship would be repaired anytime soon, as he never forgets an old grudge. Although William and Camilla were never close from the beginning, the public had seen them share smiles and even laugh in public. But could this latest event leave a permanent scar on their relationship? Prince William and Queen Camilla's relationship was tense from the very beginning. William was fully aware of and deeply hurt by his father's affair with Camilla, which eventually led to the collapse of his parents' marriage. But that was not all. Prince William, who was only 15 years old when his mother died, had grown up hearing rumors and scandals surrounding his parents. He read the stories published in the press, including the infamous Camillagate scandal, and watched his mother's heartbreaking interviews where she described Camilla Parker Bowles as the third person in her marriage, a woman who ruined her fairy tale dream, while William and his brother couldn't do anything to save their parents' marriage. What hurt them most was the fact that even as they grieved their mother's tragic death, their father continued his relationship with the same woman who had played a role in her heartbreak. And if that wasn't enough, their father's eventual decision to marry the woman who had caused so much pain in their family left both William and Harry heartbroken. In Harry's memoir, Spare, Harry revealed that he and William had pleaded with their father not to marry Camilla. But Prince Charles didn't care much for his son's wishes, just as he hadn't cared about their mother's disapproval. So the boys were left with no choice. They simply wished him well, even though their hearts were still broken by the decision. While the wedding didn't happen instantly, because Queen Elizabeth II initially withheld her approval, Camilla and Charles were already present in the children's lives at home. The first time Camilla met Prince William was in 1998, a year after Princess Diana's death. Camilla felt extremely uncomfortable and was said to be shaking like a leaf. This was because she felt guilty. She was aware of the role she had played in the breakdown of Charles and Diana's marriage, and she knew William blamed her at least partly for what had happened to his mother. After the meeting, it was reported that Camilla immediately asked for a gin and tonic as soon as William left to calm down. Camilla and William's first meeting wasn't a warm one. William kept a poker face the entire time. Like Harry, he held deep resentment towards her and didn't trust her. After the wedding, William and Harry only tolerated Camilla's presence. Camilla, aware of how they felt, kept her distance. She didn't act like a motherly figure to the boys. She left that to their father. Camilla rarely interfered in Charles's relationship with his sons, and even if she had tried, the boys wouldn't have welcomed her input. However, in moments where they seemed disrespectful to their father, she occasionally stepped in mostly to defend Charles, and not necessarily out of maternal concern. Still, over the years, Camilla worked hard to win public favor. She tried to change the narrative around her image, from the wicked woman Queen Elizabeth once called her, to one of the most respected members of the royal family. While William and Harry didn't oppose Camilla's efforts to rehabilitate her image, what deeply strained their relationship further is the discovery that Camilla was allegedly leaking royal stories to the press. These stories were said to portray her in a favorable light, while placing other royal family members in the middle of scandals. It redirected media attention away from her controversial marriage to Charles, and the boys reportedly saw that as calculated and manipulative. Despite it all, Camilla didn't stop. She kept working, and in the end even won Queen Elizabeth's approval to be named Queen Consort, not Princess Consort as originally expected. Many had assumed she would receive the same title Prince Philip held, but instead Camilla became queen. This moment marked a shift in public perception. And surprisingly, it even brought William and Camilla somewhat closer. As Harry stepped back from royal duties, Camilla and William had to work closely together, especially as King Charles's health declined. The most senior royals had to step up. William, the heir apparent, had more responsibilities than ever, and Camilla was now his father's most trusted partner. Together, they had to maintain the monarchy's image and present a unified front. Still, this didn't fully thaw the emotional distance between them. William remained civil, but guarded in his interactions, while Camilla carefully avoided overstepping boundaries. But when King Charles and Princess Catherine were both diagnosed with cancer, something changed. The emotional toll of caring for their ill spouses gave them shared empathy. Both were dealing with worry, public pressure, and increased responsibility. Gradually, they began to bond. Their working relationship became smoother, and they were even seen laughing together on occasion. William began to appreciate Camilla's quiet strength. He credited her with softening his father and bringing out his more human side. Her loyalty and unwavering care toward the king eventually earned William's respect. But all of that now seems to be going down the drain following Camilla's confrontation with Charlotte. What would Charlotte have possibly done to provoke such a harsh response from Camilla that left the young princess in tears? Princess Charlotte has always been one of the sweetest little royals. It seems like only yesterday she was introduced to the world on the steps of the Lindo Wing at London's St. Mary's Hospital in 2015. That moment marked the beginning of her royal journey in the public eye. Within a year of her birth, she had already earned the nickname of a mini fashion icon, as Catherine always dressed her in the most beautiful and eye-catching outfits. One unforgettable moment was the pink Mary Jane shoes she wore during her very first Trooping the Color appearance in 2016. The shoes sparked a fashion frenzy. Almost every parent wanted a pair for their daughters. The Leicester shoemakers were overwhelmed with demand and eventually sold out. In 2022, during the Commonwealth Games, Charlotte caused another fashion frenzy. The striped Peter Pan collar dress she wore became the talk of the town and sold out in under 24 hours. The retailer even promised to restock it due to the overwhelming demand. That was the Charlotte effect, the princess of fashion trends. But beyond being a fashionable princess, Charlotte has grown into a loving big sister, not just to her younger brother Prince Louis, but also to her older brother Prince George. Let's take a look at some of her most heartwarming big sister moments. With Louis, Princess Charlotte has always been especially protective, even from the moment he was born. Kensington Palace once released a photo to celebrate Louis's birth alongside Charlotte's third birthday. In the picture, the then 3-year-old Charlotte held Louis tenderly in her arms and kissed him gently on the forehead. It was from this touching moment of sisterly affection that her nurturing role began. On 5 June 2022, during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee, Charlotte was seated beside her mother and 2 brothers, acting almost as her mother's second pair of eyes as they watched the pageant. Then Charlotte once again displayed her maturity. She noticed sweet, chubby Louis sucking his thumb and immediately took action, gently removing his hand from his mouth. This was a sweet moment that showed her instinctive care and sense of responsibility. Another unforgettable moment happened during Trooping the Color, the annual parade held to mark the Queen's birthday. Louis was in a carriage with his siblings as they rode to Horse Guards Parade. With thousands of people gathered to cheer them on, excited Prince Louis began waving energetically to the crowd. But this wasn't permitted. Young royals are taught not to wave excessively during formal processions. Charlotte gently reached over and lowered his hand, reminding him of royal decorum. During Queen Elizabeth's funeral in 2022, Charlotte reminded her older brother George to bow when their great-grandmother's coffin passed by at Wellington Arch. During Prince Louis's Easter debut in 2023, held at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle, Charlotte was once again his quiet guide. Louis was dressed in blue matching the family and was overwhelmed by the large event. Charlotte gave him a warm, reassuring smile as he made his way beside their mother, easing his nerves. Cameras also caught her casting furtive glances toward Louis to make sure he was okay. Another unforgettable moment was at King Charles III's coronation. Princess Charlotte was tasked with watching over Prince Louis since their parents were seated separately for the ceremony. Charlotte protectively held Louis's hand as they walked into Westminster Abbey. At the end of the service, she led him out calmly, ensuring he stayed composed throughout the grand event. These moments highlight just how much Princess Charlotte has done to help her siblings look perfect, especially in public settings where the eyes of the world are constantly watching. So why did Queen Camilla treat Charlotte as if she were disrupting the royal engagement when Charlotte had always been the one making sure her siblings behaved with grace and discipline? Camilla's behavior toward Charlotte didn't sit well with Prince William. He knew he had raised a well-mannered and confident daughter. Hence his outburst and decision to ban Camilla from being around his children for life. While many found William's action commendable, it also raises another important question. How exactly have William and Catherine raised such confident, well-mannered children? Prince William and Catherine have been widely applauded by the public for their thoughtful and relatable approach to the upbringing of their 3 children. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. According to royal expert Annie Bond, the couple had adopted new parenting styles that significantly differed from the traditional monarchy style. Theirs was more relatable and normal compared to how Prince William grew up in the traditional monarchy style of parenting, where royal duties came first. However, for Catherine and William, family always comes first, and their children always come first. "I won't be rushed when it comes to my kids," Catherine once told Prince Charles and Queen Elizabeth II. This statement came from Catherine's experience with her legacy project Shaping Us, an early years initiative that focused on bringing greater public awareness to the importance of early childhood. This affected her positively, and its impact is seen in how she uses a gentle parenting style, a stark contrast to her husband's upbringing. Catherine is also believed to have taken inspiration from her parents, Michael and Carol Milton, replicating the warmth and happiness she experienced while growing up. In contrast, the royal family has historically been constrained by a lot of royal responsibilities, which tend to keep them away from their families. For instance, Queen Elizabeth II had so many responsibilities to attend to at age 25 that this made her absent from the lives of her young children. Similarly, Prince Charles and Princess Diana's turbulent marriage and divorce impacted their parenting styles and their ability to be present for their sons. Catherine, however, came from a different background, one that was filled with a happy childhood. Therefore, she broke these patterns. She used a controlled parenting style to raise her kids. This was a hands-on style of parenting that prioritizes a child's needs, with parents reacting to these needs and acting warmly towards their kids while also enforcing clear standards. From this, Catherine has gotten her parenting policy, which is no shouting, always listening to her children's complaints and tantrums, and letting them freely express themselves. Catherine's parenting style has created a different child-rearing environment from the traditional royal style of parenting, which was a duty-first parenting style. Catherine's approach fostered a healthier and more loving relationship between the children and their parents, where prioritizing the needs of her children came before the expectations of the royal family. Catherine's unwavering commitment to her family was evident during her pregnancies. In 2015, while pregnant with Charlotte, she asked for a full maternity leave, alongside several demands that were met with the support of both Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles. In 2018, after giving birth to Prince Louis, Catherine insisted on taking another maternity break, through emphasizing her commitment to her family. But that's not all. In 2024, Princess Catherine's decision to place her family first before duty was more evident as she decided to step back from her royal duties to focus on her health as she was undergoing cancer treatment. She updated the public on her recovery as she was making good progress, but also acknowledged that she was experiencing good days and bad days during her chemotherapy treatments. During this period, a video was shared of Princess Catherine with her children and her parents. Despite her challenge, she prioritized her family, showcasing love. Even with their busy schedule, Catherine and Prince William still made time to be actively present in their children's lives. Prince William is involved in bedtime routines, reading to the kids, bathing them, and splitting the school run with Catherine. Reports also have it that Princess Catherine declined to have servants care for the children permanently. Instead, she made the home like a normal home, where the children were involved in daily activities, such as laying the table, clearing their plates when they finished eating, and tidying up, with no preferential treatment for anyone. William wholeheartedly supports Catherine's parenting style. As he has stated, he is determined not to replicate his father's parenting style. He has also openly spoken against his parents' work-first approach, which impacted him negatively as he and his brother felt sidelined by their father's absence. A little lost and alone during childhood due to their father's frequent absences. This sense of isolation was exacerbated by King Charles's retreating during difficult times. It had a detrimental impact on him growing up, and it didn't help their father-son relationship. Although William has admitted admiration for his father's unwavering commitment to his royal duties, this doesn't change the fact that he and his brother Harry felt isolated. William is very committed to giving his children happy, love-filled childhood memories, ones which are different from his own. Although over the years, the relationship between Prince William and his father has improved as they've grown closer, particularly after Harry's departure from the royal family and the UK. William is still determined to raise his children with a focus on family first and not duty first. And that's why he stood up against Camilla. Princess Charlotte is growing up to be a fine young royal with grace and confidence thanks to her parents who have ensured she thrives in a balanced and loving environment.